In this video, we are going to see what is matter, what is fluid, what is mechanics, and what is the combination of them as fluid mechanics, what are the different branches of fluid mechanics, and what are its applications. Hello everyone, today we are going to start very important and interesting subject from exam point of view that is common to various branches of engineering such as civil engineering, such as chemical engineering, and mechanical. So you can see what is the importance of this subject, because different branches of engineering have this subject in common. So there can be more than one subject possible, but we are going to start with one of the vast subject, fluid mechanics. So before we start, we should have meaning what is fluid, what is mechanics. We should know how we can define a fluid. We should know how can we define mechanics term, and then we can move on further into our discussion. But before that, we need to introduce. Now we will start with matter. So what is matter? We all know, but though we have to put it in the words. So how we can define matter, or how we can understand what matter is? So remember, matter is anything which has definite mass. Remember this. Matter is anything which has definite mass, right? This is important. The second most important thing is that matter is anything which occupies space, which occupies space. This is also important point. And one more thing I would like to introduce, that is it is tangible. Now what do we mean by tangible? Tangible means like we can feel it, like air, like water. So we can feel it. So remember this, anything which possesses all these qualities, that will be called as a matter, right? Now, moving on to further into the matter, we have these chemical properties of matter, which we should know. So matter we have already defined. Now this matter can also be classified into pure substance and a mixture. Mixture is nothing but the impure substance. We can write it impure, right? So this we should keep in mind, pure and impure. Now what do we understand by pure substance? So remember, in pure substance there will be similar compounds. Like for example, this has also categorized into element and compound. But let me tell you, like element if you talk about, so suppose hydrogen, H2, this is an element. Suppose oxygen, O2, this is an element. So you can see there are same molecules. You can see the molecules are same, right? So keep this in mind. So any one single molecule we are discussing, that is element. But let us take the combination of hydrogen and oxygen, that will be like this, H2O. So there are two parts of hydrogen and one part of oxygen. They are combining and they are forming one water molecule. So in that case, you can see, so H2O, 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 everywhere is H2O. So that is known as compound, but it is also a pure substance. So it comes under the category of this pure substance. But now, what if substance is not pure? Then what we call it? Then it will be known as mixture, right? It can be a homogeneous mixture, it can be a heterogeneous mixture. So remember, homogeneous mixture can also be called solution. This mixture can also be called as solution. solution like if you take salt, you take water, mix them, you will get a salt solution like that. So that is fine, no problem. What is this heterogeneous mixture? So this is important term for us because while discussing various examples which will be coming in coming chapters, we have to use a few terms like this heterogeneous mixture. This can be classified into two important categories. So they will be like colloids and suspension. Colloids and suspension. So now what is the difference between colloids and suspense? So remember that they both are heterogeneous mixture. They both are heterogeneous mixture. Like for the case of that example, so we should keep this in mind that colloidal and suspension both we need to consider as they both are liquid plus solid. Remember this, they both are liquid plus solid. But the important thing is the particle size in colloidal will be less. So particle size is somewhere around 1 to 100 nanometer for colloids, while it is particle size, it is greater than 1000 nanometer in suspension. This is the major difference. For example, if you want to consider like colloid, so you can take that gelatin in water or starch in water. For colloid, we can take example, suppose starch plus water can be given as the example for colloids. It can be gelatin and water also. It can be sodium chloride in benzene also, but just one example because you will see so many fluids, they will come into the picture, you will see, you will come to know. I'm giving you just one example which you can easily relate because starch you all have seen in your kitchen. So if you have ever visited your kitchen, you might have known that what is like cornstarch. That is very common object which you can see at your home. That's why I'm giving you that simple example. But anyway, we will be introduced to various complex terms when we will go through the chapter rheology. So here, example for suspension I can give you like sand in water. For suspension, you can take this example, sand plus water. Remember, this is the composition of a solid and a liquid. Remember, sand is solid, water is liquid. Starch is solid, water is liquid. So you should keep this thing in mind. Anyway, that was the chemical property. Now we move on to the physical property. So remember, when it comes to physical property, so remember these are important for us because we define our fluid. How we define our fluid? So anything which can flow is the basic general definition for fluid. But when it comes to matter, so we remember that liquid and gas, they fall into the category of fluid. So we will treat matter as solid and fluid. For us, matter is solid and fluid. We will be more into the physical properties, right? Now, when we say what is fluid, so we should keep in mind that anything which can flow. Fluid is anything which can flow. Obviously, that is not the technical definition. It is the general layman language in which we can define a fluid is anything which can flow. Now, we will see what flow is. So, if we want to see what flow is, then let me give you this example. So, you can see this is a cup of sugar and this is a cup of coffee. If you pour them onto the table, then you will realize that here this sugar is not moving here and there. It will just pile up. So you can see these are the sugar particles which will get pile up, but they will not move. Instead, when you see the coffee, so it will keep on moving from one place to another like this, or even it may spill on the floor. That is also possible for this coffee. So why is that so? So see, if you draw a graph, or if you observe the position of a particle, now suppose this is time and this is the position. So position, if you observe like this is the position of any object at t equal to 0. Now if you keep on observing this object, and after some time it moves on to a new position at t equal to 2 seconds, suppose, that means we will say that this particle has flown, or this particle is flowing. So this is the property which we known as flow. The position of particle keeps on changing, right? This we will term as flow. Now don't get confused with the term, sir, a car is also moving from here to here, a car is also moving. Then how we can differentiate with a car and this fluid particle, how we can say it? So that part we will understand in detail in coming chapters. If we have to introduce what is fluid, so fluid can also be given as it has definite mass. It has some definite mass. It does not have any fixed position. This is the difference with respect to that automobile and a fluid. So automobile will have a fixed shape, but it may not have a fixed position, while the fluid, it definitely will not have a fixed position, and it will not have a fixed shape also. That is the difference between the two particles which are flowing, whether they are solid or fluid. So when it comes to solid, the shape of solid is fixed, but when it comes to fluid, the shape of the fluid is not fixed. So that is the biggest difference which we should remember, right? And the fluid has the property that it can flow under its own weight. So these things we should keep in mind, which will separate the motion of a solid and a fluid, right? Next, we'll move on to a classification. And here we are talking about the fluid and mechanics combined. So remember what mechanics is? Mechanics is actually the study of what? Mechanics is the study of effect of forces. Remember? And when this study has to be performed over a fluid, then it is called fluid mechanics. So we can refer. Now, coming back to the definition, a substance in the liquid or gas phase is referred to as fluid. That is fine, we have already seen that. Fluid mechanics is the study of behavior of fluids. So we know that what is mechanics, and when this study of effect of forces is to be applied on fluid, or in general we can say the study of behavior of fluid, is known as fluid mechanics. Now this can be done on objects which are at rest. This can be done on objects mean fluid particles which are in motion, or we can observe that interaction of fluid with other fluids, interaction of fluid with other solids at the boundaries when they came into the contact. So these things we will be studying in fluid mechanics. Now we quickly come on to the classification of mechanics, not fluid mechanics, classification of mechanics. So first we will see here that mechanics is divided into two major branches. One is solid mechanics, another is fluid mechanics. So we are interested here in fluid mechanics, but before studying fluid mechanics, you should be good enough with the concepts of solid mechanics, because they will be used like shear stress, like normal stress. So those things will be studied here also in fluid mechanics, right? Now this fluid mechanics can further be classified into three major categories: fluid statics, fluid kinetics, and fluid dynamics. So in statics, obviously as the name suggests, fluid is at rest position. Anywhere, suppose you want to store the fluid, then fluid will be at rest, but you need to make calculations for the thickness of the boundaries of the structure in which we are going to occupy, we are going to conserve that fluid. When it comes to fluid kinematics and dynamics, so obviously in both the cases, fluid is in motion. In both the cases, fluid is in motion, but if we study only the motion or geometry of motion, then it will be known as fluid kinematics. Otherwise, it will be known as fluid dynamics, where we will study the motion plus cause of motion, which is nothing but the forces causing motion. Motion cannot happen on its own. Definitely, it needs some external force, right? So that will be fluid dynamics. Now, moving on to next few part, as you can see that fluid statics, the study of fluids at rest is called fluid statics, as you can see in the diagram. Fluid kinematics, we have already discussed what fluid kinematics is, but let me tell you once again. The study of fluids in motion where pressure forces are not considered is called fluid kinematics. Fluid dynamics, here we will consider the motion as well as the forces causing the motion. Now, fluid dynamics is itself very large, so which is divided into several categories. So one of them is hydrodynamics. One of them is hydrodynamics, the study of motion of fluid that are practically incompressible, such as liquids, especially water and gases at low speed. So that branch will be called as hydrodynamics. Now, what is hydraulics? So a subcategory of hydrodynamics is hydraulics, which deals with liquid flows in pipes, liquid flows in pipes and open channels. If liquid flows are to be studied for these categories, so it is known as hydraulics, which is a particular subject in civil engineering branch. Now there are few more advanced branches such as gas dynamics. That is advanced branch because it deals with the flow of fluids that undergoes significant density changes, such as flows of gases through nozzles. So this is actually advanced part, mostly used in rockets and all, missiles, rockets, they will use gas dynamics. Now we call about aerodynamics. So basically this aerodynamics is nothing but the category which deals with the flow of gases, especially air. This is most important because any object going through the atmosphere, it has to undergo a lot of air pressure. So any rocket, aircrafts, automobiles, even when you are riding your bike on the road, you will also feel that air is coming at very high speed, relatively very high speed to you. So that is aerodynamics for you. And there are few other branches also, such as this meteorology. Now, when cyclones are coming, what will be the time when cyclone will hit, where cyclone will hit, the air pressure and all, so many things are to be studied under this category, which is meteorology. Now this is emerging branch as career also, oceanography. Oceans are full of mysteries. So as a oceanography, people are now adopting it this as an emerging branch, and we have to understand that in oceans how we can utilize it for our natural resources. A lot of resources are there, like minerals, like so many other things, so that can be utilized from this branch of fluid mechanics. Now there is natural cycle occurring. Now, suppose this is the river which you can see. From river the water will evaporate and it will go to clouds, and then when it will rain, so after rain again that water will come back to the river. So this is the cycle which we have to study under this branch of fluid mechanics, which is known as hydrology. Now, when it comes to the application part, the application areas of fluid mechanics are also, like you can see, a heart. See, if you want to manufacture an artificial heart like this, so how it should function? It should function on the basis of fluid mechanics, because blood is being pumped by the heart continuously. For any live thing, blood is being pumped by the heart. So we have to replicate the heart. So that cannot be done without studying fluid mechanics. If you see a house, you will see that wider application of fluid mechanics in any household. See the piping, how hot water is coming, how cold water is coming, how that water is going out, how that water is coming in. So many things if you see. So plumbing is a separate part. Whenever you are constructing a house, so plumbing is required beforehand. Now, once house is constructed, then also you will see so many things like air conditioners, like refrigerators. This is actually the example of refrigerator. So you can see that a fluid that is known as refrigerant that operates in both refrigerator and air conditioner. So that's how they cool. But this is application of fluid mechanics only, nothing else. Next applications involves various defense areas. As you can see, this is the Indian Air Force Rafale aircraft fighter plane, which will be used by the Indian Air Force. Then we can see the application of fluid mechanics in a submarine and the aircraft carrier. So this is, if you can identify it, this is INS Arihant, indigenous developed submarine, and this is INS Vikramaditya. So they both are operational now and they both work on the principles of fluid mechanics. Then we have this Bahubali rocket from ISRO, which was used for the purpose of carrying Chandrayaan 2 on its shoulder. So all these are applications of fluid mechanics only. Next, a reference book which we can follow for this subject. So I will suggest that any one of the reference book you can follow from foreign author and any one Indian author. Why? Because foreign author books are good for concept building, but Indian author books are good for practice purpose. Because in GATE exam, anyway, you have to do a lot of practice. So as we can see that here, Eunice A. Sengel, John M. Simbala, Frank M. White, very good book. And then Fox McDonald. This is very good book. So all three are best. Any one you can follow, no problem with that. And then there is one more reference book that will be S.K. Som, Gautam Viswas, and Suman Chakrabarti. So this book is also very good, but it has some mathematical approach. And then we come to Indian author. So Indian author you can follow anyone like Modi and Seth, this book, or R.K. Bansal. R.K. Bansal. So you can follow any of that book. That will be good, right? But you have to study. That is important. Okay, fine. Thank you guys.